We have spent so much time teaching women that children are a blessing that we have failed to teach girls that motherhood is a responsibility. And preparation for that responsibility matters. I told this creator that I was going to respond to her video, and I can't find it now. But when she said that women need to think about having children when we are talking about women living in poverty. And y'all came for her. But children are a blessing. That's all she kept getting in her comments. And I need for us to stop and think about that. Because being able to have a child is a blessing. There are so many adult people, women who cannot have children. But a child, sweetheart, a child is a responsibility. A whole human being whose quality of life is going to be directly impacted by the decisions that we make before they even get here. And I know that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But I can say this because I was that girl. I was 19 years old when I had my first son. And I loved my child. I love my children. I am not saying I wish I did not have my kids. But what I am saying that I now have enough wisdom, healing, and understanding to look backwards and tell the truth about why that little girl romanticized motherhood in the first place. You see, I wanted somebody to love me. That's it. I wanted somebody to love me. And I thought having a baby was going to do that. I grew up needing love. And somewhere in my little girl mind, I romanticized having a baby because I thought I'll finally have somebody to love and somebody who will love me back. But here's what I can acknowledge now. I was thinking about what I needed that baby to give me. I wasn't thinking about what that baby was going to need from me. I know. Take it in. Take it all in. And I wasn't deliberately trying to be selfish because I was a child. My prefrontal cortex, honey, it hadn't even formed and fully developed yet. I didn't understand the financial responsibility. I did not understand the emotional responsibility. I didn't even understand that my unhealed childhood trauma was going to walk right into motherhood with me. That part I want you to allow to sit in your system. And that is why I need us to stop romanticizing motherhood to young girls. Because we will tell a girl, babies are a blessing. God will provide. You'll figure it out. I'm going to walk right on side by you. But what we don't spend nearly enough time asking her is, are you okay? Do you know who you are? Have you healed? Do you understand what healthy love looks like? Do you understand money? Do you understand relationships? Have you been modeled a healthy relationship? Do you understand what it actually takes to provide stability from another human being? Have you ever had stability? Because wanting a baby and being prepared to raise a human being are two completely different things. But let me be very clear about something. This is not me saying poor people should not have children. Poverty is not a moral failure because y'all like to take stuff there. What I am saying is people lose jobs, relationships end, spouses die, people get sick, life happens. I know, I lived it. You can have children, child, while financially stable and find yourself struggling later. Period. I've been there. That is not what I am saying. I'm talking about what we are teaching girls before the decision. Because I know what poverty with children feels like. I lived it. I got married young. We lived in poverty. And do you know where the bulk of the stress of getting my children out of that situation fell? It fell on me. because he was comfortable in poverty. He was okay with the life that we were living. I wasn't. My kids were not going to live the life that I lived. So I got an education. I worked 3 jobs. I did whatever I believed I needed to do to be able to give my children a life beyond what I had come from. Here's the truth that grown Kamika can acknowledge today. My children still had to live through the process of me figuring that shit out. They didn't choose that. I chose it for them. And no matter how much I love them, sometimes the child pays while you're figuring it out. And that becomes mama trauma. And that's what I'm talking about. Because love does not pay rent. Love does not create housing stability. Love does not put food in the refrigerator, and scripture does not make childhood adversity disappear. So if I could go back and change something, I wouldn't start at 19. I'd go further back. I go get that little girl. I would change the childhood that created a teenager who believed motherhood might finally give her somebody to love. I would put her in an environment that cultivated her. I teach her that education was possible. I teach her financial literacy. I teach her emotional regulation. I teach her healthy relationships. I teach her that she was worthy of love before she ever became somebody's mother. Because motherhood should not be the place where we go looking for the love that we did not receive. A child should not be born with a job, not to heal you, not to complete you, not to keep a man, not to fix a relationship, not to become the person who will finally love you unconditionally. That's too much responsibility to place on a child before they've even taken their first breath. And this is why healing girls matters. Because before she becomes responsible for somebody else's childhood, let's help her understand her own. Let's help her heal her own. Let's teach her that motherhood can absolutely be beautiful. That being able to carry and bring life into this world can absolutely feel like a blessing. But let's not stop there being the conversation. Because that baby becomes a child. And that child becomes a teenager. And that teenager becomes an adult. And everything that happens inside that childhood goes with them. So if we really believe children are precious, then we should care just as much about the life they're born into as we do about getting them here. Because children deserve more than life. They deserve a real opportunity to live. And maybe instead of only telling our girls children are a blessing, we start telling them you are the blessing. Let's make sure you're whole enough, prepared enough, supported enough, and informed enough that if you choose motherhood one day, you aren't asking your child to heal the little girl nobody helped you heal. I'm not telling you something I heard, sweetheart. I'm telling you something that I know.